What went into the decision last night deciding not to pull Jacob in the final few minutes of the game?
I didn't think we were at the point with the way we played that we deserved to have the goalie pulled, and I looked at it as would end up 6-3. And I don't, by any stretch of the imagination, I'm not saying that we're not going to come back and win a game, but I just didn't have the impression from my team last night that we were good enough.
So is that a message to the group and kind of subtle message to the group?
Well, they could take it however they want to take
Yeah.
it. I guess it's for me that was my thought on it, and that's why it was not done.
Is that an easy decision? Like, you're all competitive, and like how tough a decision is that in the moment to
Yeah, it's
pull back?
it's at the moment. I mean, you have your decisions that you have to make at certain times, and whether it's right or wrong, it's the one that I felt was the right one at that time.
Ryan Zeri looked a little frustrated at times yesterday. He hasn't scored in a while. What have you thought of his play lately?
Yeah, I can see that too. I mean, since he's been back from his injury, I think he's been a step behind. And I think that's probably why he hasn't really been able to generate all that much. So that's something that I think he's probably aware of as well, and that's probably where the frustration comes in from.
So just the injury, do you think, so related to that, or has he hit some sort of
Well,
wall?
no, I think that's got something to do with it. I mean, he missed 8 games, and now he's come back again, and the pace that he was playing at isn't the same. And I think a lot of that has to do with his time away, but now it's up to him to make sure that I've got to raise it again, and I've got to be making sure I'm pushing the envelope here.
You mentioned Kuzmenko's work yesterday going into the corners and specifically. I mean, are we seeing him sort of become more the player you guys want him to become?
Yeah, I think, well, when he's got the puck in the offensive zone, you could see the cutbacks and you could see how he can make plays and go to the net, and he's very strong on his skates, so that's what makes him a good player for us. And over the last 3 games, points aside, but he's been around the puck a lot, and he seems to have a little bit of chemistry with Marty and Naz, so we'd like to see that continue. You always want every one of your players to have some improvements away from the puck. He's no different, so that's an area that he'll keep working on, but we do like what we're seeing in regards to how he's playing with the puck in the offensive zone.
We
We all know the skill set
Yeah.
there. Like, are you, throughout his career, the knock has been consistency. Are you closer to figuring out how to keep him engaged and how to unlock that potential?
Yeah, I think he's engaged. I do. I think he's. I think he loves to play the game. I think he loves to be on the ice. I think sometimes he overthinks it a little bit, and that may cause a few problems where his feet will stop moving, or he doesn't shoot the puck anymore because he's thinking, well, I can set someone else up here in this situation. So I feel like when he's playing his game and he's keeping it simple and he's shooting the puck, that's when he's at his very best.
Go ahead.
Do you want to get a guy like Dennis Gilbert some time between now and the end of the
I'd
season?
like to get all of our guys some time. Yeah.
I was asking about him because obviously he's played this season. And,
It's been a tough stretch for him, and I think he's handled it really well. He's come to work every day, and he's worked hard on the ice. We brought in some new defensemen at the deadline, and he's been the one that's kind of suffered from that. But he continues to do what we're asking him to do on the ice in practice. So yeah, it would be nice to get him back in.
Do you have an update on Joel Hanley?
He'll be a day-to-day thing. He won't be coming on this road trip with us, but I don't think it'll be all that long.
Mangiapane going to play tomorrow?
We'll see. I mean, he got through practice today, and we'll see how things shake out afterwards here.
Ryan, just back to Kuzmenko. Every time the TV camera showed him yesterday, he was talking to a teammate about something animated. What's he talking about? Is he asking questions? Is he teaching people things? Does it help the teammates get engaged?
I don't know how to answer that one, because I think a lot of the conversation is trying to figure out what he's saying or what his point is that he's trying to get across. So you see a lot of hand signals going back and forth and where he wants people to go or where he'll be. So that communication, whether it's verbal or with the body language, I think is important when you're playing with guys that come from different backgrounds. So his English isn't the strongest, so he does everything that he possibly can to make sure he's on the same page with his line mates, which is pretty cool. And that's why you see that a lot.
We'll all focus on that first goal last night because it's sort of highlight reel stuff. But the second one where he's parked at the edge of the blue paint, is that kind of what you knew you were getting as a guy who will go to those areas?
Well, when you looked at all of his, well, not all of his goals in Vancouver when he was there, a lot of his goals, especially on the power play, were the tap-in type goals where he's off a post. So that's where he goes a lot, and we feel like that's where he's at his very best, below the tops of the circles in the offensive zone. When he gets a step on someone, we want him to go to the net, and he knows where to score goals, so he goes there.
We've heard from Mackenzie yesterday about how the standard needs to be upheld, especially with the younger players in the lineup. In your view, and this might be a bit obvious, but what do you want the standard to be?
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that statement. I don't think it's just the younger players. I think it's older players as well, and they are the guys that understand, how you have to play every night to have success. And if they let the foot off the gas, to me, it's more on them. It should be them pulling the other people along, that this is the way we play no matter what the situation is. So that's where I would go with that question. To me, it's the older players.